Today's vlog is going to be a little bit teachy, so for those of you who aren't interested in natural health and wellness, it might not be for you. But if you are, please keep listening, because natural health and wellness has been one of my passions for the past 15 years, and I'm super excited to share a fun trick that I recently learned with you guys, all about getting the most vitamin D from the sun possible. If you've watched any of our vlogs to this point, you guys probably know our family's on a healing journey, specifically for multiple autoimmune diseases. And today the one I want to focus on is alopecia. We have 2 children with alopecia, and I want to tell their story and how it relates to vitamin D from the sun. So the story began about 6 or 7 years ago. Our son Nathan is now 9 years old. And when he was just a little guy, 2 years old, 2.5, he lost all of his hair. I mean, all of the hair from his entire body, even his little eyelashes and eyebrows, just gone. So through research, I discovered that he had autoimmune alopecia universalis. I know, long term, but basically it just meant that his body was attacking his own hair follicles, making all of his hair fall out. Being so little, he actually didn't have a lot of hair to begin with, so it wasn't super noticeable other than losing eyebrows and eyelashes. That was pretty noticeable, but those did come back. The hair on his head took a little longer to come back though, and I discovered that vitamin D from the sun was a huge part of that. We lived in Alaska. Being in Alaska, and through my research, I discovered that we actually couldn't get vitamin D from the sun other than about 45 days of the year, and of those days, on some of those days, less than an hour of time could we actually get vitamin D from the sun, and here's why. You may or may not know that vitamin D is actually made on our skin. Cholesterol is used, melanin. It's a process that happens on our skin. And unfortunately, not all sun rays give us vitamin D. It's the UVB rays that get onto our skin and then are processed into vitamin D. And the only way we can get those UVB rays to our skin and get that vitamin D that is so important for our health is when the angle of the sun is above 50% off the horizon. So if you know geometry, that means you can kind of picture that angle, right? The sun has got to be high enough in the sky in order for that angle to be just right for us to get those UVB rays. That's why in Alaska there's such a short window of opportunity to be able to get that particular ray of sunshine. So while in Alaska, I was so convinced that vitamin D was very important for Nathan's healing that I actually did so much research. I found a US Naval website that would tell me, that had charts, lists and lists of charts that you could actually look up for any place in the world, any time of day, whether you were getting the right angle of UVB sun in order to get vitamin D. Well, it took a lot of time finding that site, looking up the place, the location, and seeing if we could actually get vitamin D for the day. But we made sure to be out in the sun almost every moment that we could get vitamin D there in Alaska. And since we moved to Missouri, there's a whole lot more time that we can get those UVB rays from the sun at just the right angle to get vitamin D. It actually takes 48 hours from sun exposure in order for that vitamin D to be fully synthesized and utilized into the body. So don't go scrubbing yourself with soap after you've been out in the sun. You'll lose all that potential vitamin D. So here's why I'm so excited. I discovered a trick that allows me to not have to go to that naval site anymore, and we know exactly when we can get vitamin D, and I call it the short shadow trick. So if you go outside, and first of all you got to be able to see your shadow. If you can see your shadow, it's not cloudy, and your shadow is shorter than you are, then that is prime time to get those UVB rays from the sun that will become vitamin D in your body. So look for the short shadow. If your shadow's short, great time. If it's not short, if it's taller than you, or if it's cloudy, then it's best to just be covered or be inside. I'm checking my shadow right now, and it's probably hard for you to tell, but I think my shadow is shorter than I am. So that means this is prime time for me to be outside working, lounging, walking, doing something to be able to soak in those rays that I need for my body to make vitamin D. So here's Nathan. You guys have seen him on our vlogs, and he's a handsome man, young man, 9 years old. So you've had alopecia for about 6 years. You don't remember the first time you lost your hair. It was when you were around 2.5 actually. And since then we've noticed a pattern, huh? What's that pattern? What happens to your hair throughout the year?
I lose it, then I grow it back, and I lose it, and I grow it back.
Right, it comes and goes. And that's what gave us a clue that vitamin D from the sun was so important, right? Because every summer it grows back, and then in the winter you lose it. Well, this last winter we did an experiment, and I got the best high quality vitamin D supplements possible, basically. And what happened to your hair?
It hasn't grown back yet.
Look at you. I don't know if you can see, but it is now May, and there's lots of little bits of hair on there growing back, but in past years it grew back even sooner. So vitamin D supplements are great, but they don't necessarily work so well with someone with alopecia or an autoimmune disease. And I think the reason for that is that with an autoimmune disease, the vitamin D receptors in the body often are impaired in some way, and so they may be getting vitamin D through their food, maybe getting vitamin D even through the sun, but because the receptors that are needed for that vitamin D to be utilized in the body are not working right, they actually need a ton more than most people. And here's our beautiful Esther Pie. She is 6 years old, and she's had alopecia from about the same age as her brother, from about 2.5, 3 years old. She, same thing, lost all of her hair, even her eyebrows and eyelashes. But hey, check it out. Look, what do you have around your eyes? Can you see that, guys? She has eyebrows and eyelashes. So we're still waiting for your hair to grow back in, huh? It's always fun when she gets little bits of hair that come in the summertime, huh?
Mama, look, there's a flower out there. Look, a purple one.
She wants you to see the purple flower. Point it out. Yeah, beautiful. I'm just convinced that it's vitamin D from the sun that is helping their hair to grow back every summer. There just isn't any other variable that I can come up with. We have an excellent diet. They have a stress-free life. They sleep great. And the only other thing possible is maybe that they go barefoot through the summer, and I know that has great health benefits as well. But for now, we are just going to try and get as much vitamin D from the sun into them every summer as possible. And also try and up our vitamin D food sources through the winter, and just keep hoping and praying for their healing. If you have alopecia, just keep going. It is really tough, but I know people have healed from it. There's all kinds of stories that you can find on YouTube, and search the internet. There's just lots of people who are finding healing, even though it can take a very long time. All right, time for a short shadow test, Nathan. What do you think? Look at your shadow. Is it shorter than you?
Yep.
All right. Are you going to get those good UVB rays that your body's going to make into vitamin D?
Yeah.
Good deal. So now's a great time for you to run and play. All right. Now, Esther, you're going to do the short shadow test. Is your shadow shorter than you, do you think?
Yeah.
It is. So now's a great time for you to run and play outside, huh? All right, have fun. So here's a really cool fact about vitamin D. There are receptors in our body that are there for nutrients and hormones and things, and without those receptors, those nutrients, hormones, they can't do what they're supposed to do in the body. Of all the hormones and nutrients that our body needs for health, there's actually only 2 that have receptors in every single cell of the body. You guessed it, that's vitamin D, and then the other one is thyroid hormones, and the thyroid hormones regulate the temperature of each cell. So, man, that says a lot for vitamin D. J-Day's at it again. He's harvesting the wild. What are you eating, buddy? What is that? Are you getting the little juices out of the honeysuckles? Is it yummy?
Yeah.
Good. It's beautiful. Look at all this honeysuckle. It smells lovely over here with all these honeysuckles. And they're sure tasty, huh?
And you, that was you.
There are a lot.
Yeah, and there was you up there.
Up there. They're everywhere. Aren't they beautiful?
And you. Come, kind of yummy then.
Alright guys, I could probably go on and on about vitamin D, but I better close this out. Before I go, I just want to say if you have any cool facts about vitamin D that you'd like to share, or maybe a healing journey that you've been on, please leave a comment below. We would love your thoughts. So thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share. Blessings.